All right, today we're diving into this really incredible story of innovation, and it comes straight from a high school in Thailand, where a group of students decided to tackle a massive global problem, right in their own backyard.
I mean, it sounds a little like a riddle, doesn't it? Can fruit peels and eggshells solve plastic pollution? But that exact question is what sparked a totally groundbreaking project. It really forces you to look at the trash we all throw away and see it in a whole new light, not as waste, but as a resource.
Okay, so our story kicks off in Suratthani. It's a province down in southern Thailand. And, like a lot of places around the world, it's dealing with a pretty serious environmental challenge. But this one has a very specific, very local flavor to it.
So, picture this. On one side, you've got literal mountains of fruit waste coming from all the local markets. What happens to it? Well, it's either burned, which releases CO2, or it gets dumped in a landfill. Then, on the other side, you have the local farmers who rely on these single-use plastic nursery bags for all their seedlings. Now, you might think these are two totally separate problems, but they're actually deeply connected.
And here's the really staggering part about those plastic bags. 450 years. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That's how long it takes for just one of them to decompose. They literally outlive the trees they help grow by centuries, all while leaching tiny bits of plastic into the soil and the water.
So here's where we connect the dots to the bigger climate crisis, right? Burning all that fruit waste, that pumps CO2 straight into the atmosphere. Burying it in a landfill, well, that creates methane, which is a greenhouse gas that's way, way more potent than CO2 in the short term. And of course, let's not forget that just making the plastic bags in the first place uses a ton of energy and has its own huge carbon footprint.
But here's the cool part. Faced with this pretty big challenge, a group of students over at Suratpittaya 2 school, well, they didn't just see a problem, they saw a huge opportunity.
Yeah, instead of just shrugging and accepting things as they were, 3 grade 11 students decided to put their science and tech education to work. They looked at those piles of fruit peels and then at the fields littered with plastic, and they asked this brilliant question: what if one of these problems could solve the other?
And this, my friends, is where things get really, really clever. This is the start of their journey to turn something we all see as just everyday trash into a totally revolutionary new material.
The whole project is built on this really powerful concept called the circular economy. And it's a huge shift in how we think about, well, stuff. Instead of the old linear way, take, make, dispose, you create a closed loop where waste doesn't really exist. It just becomes the raw material for the next new thing.
So, how did they actually do it? Well, it's brilliant. First, they went out and partnered with local markets to collect all this waste. We're talking fruit peels, oyster shells, even eggshells. Then, they took it all back, washed it, dried it, and ground it all down into a super fine powder. They mixed that powder with some natural binders, heated it all up to form this kind of slurry, and then poured it into thin sheets to dry. And the final result? A flexible, surprisingly durable bioplastic they named EcoShell.
Okay, so creating a cool new material in the lab is one thing, right? But the real test, the big question, is always, does it actually work? I mean, could this stuff truly replace the plastic bags everyone was using?
Okay, check this out. Because the results from their plant growth tests are fascinating. When they looked at how tall the seedlings grew, both the EcoShell bags and the plastic ones were pretty much identical. No real difference. But look at the leaves. The plants in the EcoShell bags were sprouting almost a whole new leaf every 2 days. Meanwhile, the ones in the plastic bags were losing leaves. It's a huge sign that the EcoShell plants were just plain healthier, probably because the bag itself could breathe, letting air and nutrients get to the roots.
And if you thought the plant results were good, the climate impact numbers were even more dramatic. They did the math on the carbon footprint for producing 1 kilogram of their bags versus the old plastic ones. For regular plastic, you're looking at 2.6 kilograms of CO2 equivalent, but for EcoShell, just 1.35 kilograms. I mean, that is a massive difference.
Let's just put that in simple terms. Their invention slashed the carbon footprint in half, a 50% reduction. Just by rethinking what waste is, they created something that wasn't just biodegradable, it was way better for the climate right from the get-go.
But the story doesn't end in the science lab, not even close. These students were determined to take their idea and make a real, tangible difference in their community, and hopefully inspire a lot of other people along the way.
And just look at what they've already accomplished. In their trial period alone, they replaced 1,500 plastic bags. They stopped up to 100 kilograms of fruit waste from being burned or landfilled every single month. They built partnerships with local farms, with markets, with community leaders. They even started campaigns in their own school to raise awareness and launched a Facebook page to share what they learned with the whole world.
And this right here is pretty much their mission statement. It's their call to action, and I think it just perfectly captures the whole spirit of the project. It's optimistic, it's practical, and it is seriously powerful.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? The EcoShell team looked at a pile of garbage and saw a pile of value. It really makes you wonder, what waste is sitting around in your own community right now that's really just a solution in disguise?